Hi, this is Katie Tunstall. You're watching Mariners TV.
They had 2-1 defeat today against Witton Albion, two really late goals under us in the end. How do you reflect on the game?
Obviously with huge disappointment, in so many respects that wasn't good enough today. We just have to hold our hands up and say that was way below what we expect here at South Shields, especially with us being at home. And we've got to get back on track ASAP.
In the first half, you found yourself 1-0 up at half time. Was there some warning signs in the first half that all wasn't quite right, do you think?
I think we were far from our best, that's for sure. But at the same time, I thought at least the last 15-20 minutes of that first half, we pretty much had them encamped in their own half. We were kind of knocking on the door a little bit. Then obviously Sefton pops up with a great finish. But it's just so bitterly disappointing. The second half performance. I don't think I've ever known us to be so on the back foot in terms of, we looked like a team that were almost away from home, down to 10 men, for probably 20, 25, even 30 minutes at the end of that, the back end of the game. So we have to go away, myself and Graham, and look at the whys and the reasons, and we obviously have to have some big conversations this week about how we ensure that, or as best we can ensure that doesn't happen again.
I guess the longer that second half went on at 1-0, the more encouragement they would have got that they would have a chance towards the end of the game.
Yeah, and we gave them that encouragement because we showed, without sounding too harsh, we showed a complete ineptitude on the ball to control the game of football, which again is, I really can't remember at Mariners Park there being many occasions at all like that since pretty much since we've been here at the football club. Even if we're not out of possession at our best, we generally control the game of football and dictate things. There was just a complete lack of good decision makers out there today, and I don't know whether certain people lost their heads, but there was far too many players who were way off the mark today and drastically need to improve. We now have almost a selection headache for all the wrong reasons now. When we've been on a little bit of a run like we've been on a decent run in the league lately. It's a headache around, for all the right reasons, because people are normally closing the door on others, and even though you've got quality sitting there potentially on the bench, you find it hard to get them in. Now, off the back of that performance, if we're to put a team down on paper now for next week, me and Graham are seriously struggling, and we're going to have to, we'll see what we get on Tuesday night, and then we'll go from there. But look, it's one game. It's a really disappointing game. No two ways about it. We are very extremely disappointed for the fans that have turned up in massive numbers again today. I feel absolutely devastated for them. But it's one game, and we have to get back on track. We've got to stick together.
I know you can't turn back the clock and put things right for today's game, but you can put things right moving forward as well. So how much work is it going to go in, do you think, to try and right the wrongs of today?
Yeah, me and Graham won't stop how we do things, and it's ironic. We feel like we've almost put in even more work between last Saturday's game and then Tuesday and then today. We felt really buoyant and positive going into today's game, but that shows you what football's like sometimes. But we need players in abundance to step up to the mark now. Okay, we've said it before. We're getting towards the business end of the season, and you find out who your real players are. You find we said when you turn up the heat that little bit more, you find out who's got the mettle, who can deal with it, who's got that fortitude, that character to be able to say. And we're not just talking about running around and putting tackles in and headers and things like that. We're talking about good decision makers on the ball. We really lacked those today. Really lacked good decision makers on the ball, you know, to swing the game back in our own direction, and that's possibly one of the most disappointing things today. You know, it's usually our strength, how we control games of football with the ball, but we were absolutely awful today in terms of dictating that game of football. And you know, me and Graham are confident that that's a blip for us. We have to learn from it. We have to take. We have to be tough on ourselves. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of criticism coming our way off the back of that. And you've just got to hold your hands up and take it at times, because that was not good enough today. But we, in the grand scheme of things, it's one game. We've got to bounce back. We win on Saturday. If we win on Saturday, you know, we're back on the front foot again, and we go from there.
And Blake came off at half time with a bit of a knock that he picked up in the first half. Is there any update on him and maybe Stefan as well, whether the ice back on at the end?
No, Blair was just a knock. It was caught his shin after about half an hour in the first half and struggled to get going again. So it was just a painful one for him. So nothing too serious. And Sefton's fine. So we move on to Tuesday now. You know, tough local game, and we need players to say, you know, with their performances that a place in our team really means something to them.
Just finally looking ahead at that Tuesday game against Dunstan, what can the fans expect from that one, do you think?
Well, what they should expect is a massive reaction. That's what we're expecting. And you know, if we, well, look, yeah, we're looking for a massive reaction, and that's what the fans should expect. So it's up to the players to step up to the mark now and get us back on track.